Everyone, I'm now calling this meeting to order. Please stand with us. We'll be led in prayer by Alderman Gallagher. Please remain standing after that for the Pledge of Allegiance, and that will be led by Alderman at Large George Payne.
Heavenly Father, we're thankful once again for the opportunity to meet and to discuss our city's business. Lord, I pray that you would be with us as we make decisions, Lord, that you would be with the citizens of Southaven, Lord. Watch over us and protect us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda this evening is the approval of minutes for the September 3rd, 2024 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Jerome. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries. Next on our agenda, we have obviously a lot of special guests in the room, so we thank y'all for attending for our Mayor's Youth Council. So what we're going to do is do the swearing in of our new members. And what I'll do is I'm going to read all the names of our current members for all three schools. And then after I read all the names, if you're a new member, if you will come to the front, I'm going to come to the very front just past this first table. And if you will line up in front of the first row of chairs facing this way, and then we'll do the swearing in. So from Southaven High School, we have our sponsor, Mr. Tim Gardner. Tim, thank you for what you do for us. Appreciate that. And at Southaven, we have Lauren Gardner, Isabel Alonzo, Alaya Turner, Tavion Jackson, Sebastian Bolanos, Gia DeMillo, forgive me if I miss it, Joshua Haynes, Emily Pearson, Kieran Newsom, Darian Maxwell, Peyton Bostick, and Kamaya Nelson. And then at DeSoto Central High School, we have our sponsor, Ms. Terry Bowler. We thank Terry for her service with the Youth Council as well. And at DeSoto Central, we have Paul Pixler, David Fan, Carrie Crawford, Vanessa Boyd, Sydney Campbell, Ella Bryan, Genesis Weeks, Galena Thompson, Braden Dendy, Sarah Shover, Harlan Brown, Silas King, and Tyler Klinger. And then at North Point Christian School, we have our sponsor, Dr. Danny Mann. We appreciate your service. And at North Point, we have Morgan Thompson, Griffin England, Claire Webby, Mariah Timms, Sarah Louise Manley, Addie Drisdale, Ansley McBride, Elizabeth Flowers, Anna Grace Baskin, Carson Clark, and Sophia Patel. So thank y'all again for all being here. So if you're a new member, please come forward at this time.
We got a big group.
With her sister.
All right, is that everybody? So we're gonna all be sworn in together. So if you will, raise your right hand and repeat after me. Insert your name. I. Say it out loud. I. Say your name. Y'all need some help. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Mississippi.
and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi,
And obey the laws thereof.
and obey the laws thereof,
That I am not disqualified.
that I am not disqualified
From holding the office of Mayor's Youth Council.
from holding the office of Mayor's Youth Council,
And I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. All right, y'all got better. Okay, so we're going to do can we get a group photo?
Please. Yeah, y'all can go up there, my hands face this way. We'll have to scrunch together.
Photo bomb in the back. You ready?
Make the photo better. 3, 2, 1.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for serving.
Thanks for saying.
Are you going to move it?
What's this thing made of?
Okay, I appreciate you. My helper, I forgot, I knew nothing. Take a picture.
Okay, next on our agenda is the health insurance renewal for the city. So we've had detailed discussions over the years. Obviously, the health insurance is one of the key benefits of our employees of the city. It's one of the most costly expenditures that we have. So it's something that, you know, we comb into this very heavily every year. Have our broker go out to the market, see what's out there. Not only in such an inflationary period, but in the insurance market right now, the insurance companies are extremely sensitive. So based on loss ratios, we've had a rate increase. Our current carrier, United, we've got like a 17% rate increase. So Holland and Bruce and Megan are in the audience if any questions arise. So we've gone to the market. Some refuse to quote, but all the major carriers in the southeastern part of the United States we have access to through Holland. And so the next best option that we had was Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's, you know, familiar to everybody. We've had Blue Cross in previous years with the city. And so they came in at a rate that was right at 12.98% of an increase. So the difference in the two quotes, the total for United is $3,741,745. The quote with Blue Cross, $3,602,777, and so it's $138,968 better to go to Blue Cross. Y'all know that in some of the other discussions in the past, both with health insurance and our P&C insurance, a lot of times if there's a small variation, it's not worth, you know, the effort to go through and change companies, you know, re-educate everybody on what the coverage differences are and such. But when you get into this kind of difference, the recommendation is that we switch. It's not just the amount of money for the city, but it impacts the, you know, cost of dependent care for our families. So it's our recommendation that we make the switch to Blue Cross Blue Shield. Obviously, the frequently asked questions that come up, are you going to have access to the same physicians? There was a time, even in the last 10 years, when a lot of the companies may have one network but not another. So there was a big difference in what doctors were available or other physicians. So now that's not so much the case. So we have all the networks. So we're not losing a network from going to, you know, from United to Blue Cross Blue Shield. So we feel like that's a safe move, you know, for all of our people. As far as the other differences, everything is about the same. Anytime you switch companies, you're going to have some small variations. There's doctor copay. One of the key things is doctor copay visit, $25 for Blue Cross, where we had $0 on the other one. But to offset that, you have some other categories where the copay percentages are not as much, so it's less out of pocket, you know, with Blue Cross than it is with United. So it's never going to be exactly apples to apples quote, but this is a very similar quote. It's going to be basically the same coverage. So I'll open up the floor for any questions, but after meeting with Holland and hearing their analysis, considering the numbers and how it relates to our city, the recommendation is that we switch our health insurance to Blue Cross Blue Shield. Also, we talked in the past about the importance of being able to get quotes at the key time for setting our budget. We've had a January 1 renewal for many years, The recommendation is to get that renewal back to coincide with our budget year on October 1. When we do that, our broker can go to market earlier. We can get the quote earlier. Then when we're setting our budget, we know we're not guessing what that number is. We know exactly what it is. So this will be a recommendation is to go with a 9-month policy to get us from January 1 to 10/1. And the recommendation is to switch to Blue Cross Blue Shield. So with that, let's open up the floor to discussion and then ask for a motion to approve.
Mayor, will you talk about the hospitals? What availability, like at Baptist, Methodist, and
They're all the same. Bruce, Megan, my understanding is that they have access. The question is, all the hospitals, what's different about the two policies as far as any hospital access?
Blue Cross Blue Shield, you're going to have both networks, Baptist and Methodist. Right now, with United Healthcare, it's Baptist only, with the exception you've got Baptist here in Southaven. We'll have more.
We'll have more in this case. Okay. Any other questions?
Still gonna have the telemed.
Still have the telemed. You do have the $25 deductible with it. That's, again, just looking at it, the things that are going to be the frequently asked questions, that is one of them. That's a negative. But it is, like I said, it is offset by having lower out-of-pocket in some of the other categories.
Mayor, is there going to be an increase for the employees?
Yeah, we spread the some of the companies do it differently. Like they have the rate adjustments higher for dependents than the actual employees. So what we asked them to do is to spread that evenly, so to try to minimize the cost of the dependents. As y'all know, we pay 100% of the cost of our employee, which by the way is a great benefit. I don't know if anybody's not worked for a government in a long time, but that's to have your health insurance paid for 100%. That is a good benefit. So, but yeah, to spread that increase, we did make it to where it's spread evenly, so it's not a heavier burden on the dependents. Yeah. I didn't say this. I don't like to dwell on this, but bottom line, just a 2-minute insurance lesson again for everybody. A lot of times people think with a group policy, it's so large that that what happens in the group doesn't matter to the rates, and that's just not the case. We are a large group with the city of Southaven, but you add 3 or 4 large claims, it impacts our loss ratio and changes our market position. So that's what happened this year is we got a few outstanding, very large claims that have increased our loss ratio. Not only with that, but also the forecast of knowing that the claims aren't over, that there's going to be heavier things this year, and so that has impacted our situation, our rates. Any other questions about the renewal?
Did someone make a motion?
We haven't. I just was going to let it, just.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we go with the recommended Blue Cross Blue Shield for our employees.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Payne and a second by Alderman Gallagher. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Hicks.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Weaver.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries. Let me add, by the way, also, anytime we've made a change in the past, and what we'll do this year is we will put together some visual aids just to make sure it's clear for our employees. Melanie, our Human Resources Director, along with Holland, will be visiting, our departments and making sure that everyone has a chance to get any questions answered as far as the switchover. So it should be fairly seamless. I didn't mention also that we would also be switching our dental and vision. And the good news there is we are taking a 9% decrease on dental and vision. So that'll help offset, not fully, but it will knock a little bit of a dent in the negative of the overall health increase. Okay, we'll move on. Next on our agenda, we have a donation docket. We have the 10th Inning Grill and Bar has donated $1,000 to our Southaven Animal Shelter. So we appreciate that 10th Inning. So we need to accept that donation.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Donation accepted. Next on our agenda are contracts with Comcast with our city police and parks. City Attorney Nick Manley.
Yes, these contracts with Comcast for city, police, and parks. The Parks Department contract with Comcast is for the transferring of phone service to Comcast for the phones in the parks buildings. Service is 36 months at $393.50 per month. And the other contract with Comcast with the Southaven Police Department is for the East Precinct that is being constructed in the amount of $129.95 per month. Just need authorization for Chief Vickers and Wes Brown to sign these contracts.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is approval to issue a request for proposals for grounds maintenance.
This is our current contract we have with Chandler is expiring or has expired. So at this point, we are the Planning Department, Public Works Department, Parks Department, we're putting together a master list to seek proposals for the service. So we need authorization to seek those proposals. We're not required to, but since it is professional service, but tonight just need authorization to go ahead and seek proposals for those services, and then once they're received, come back to you with recommendation for approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is our Utilities Department contract with Payet.
Yeah, this is a 5-year contract with Payet. It's it's the contract and statement of work for the software program needed for credit card payments for utility bills, and the individual paying the payment will be responsible for the fee that's associated with the credit card transaction as required by Mississippi law. The contracts have been revised to reflect Mississippi law as well. It'll allow for those services underneath or with the machines. It's been reviewed by the Utilities Department, and the contract's been reviewed and revised as well. So tonight, just need authorization for the mayor to sign these contracts with Payet or the Utilities Department head with Payet and the statement of work as presented tonight.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is a resolution for Freeport tax exemption for Yeti coolers.
This resolution will provide a Freeport tax exemption, as the mayor noted, for Yeti. That's just an exemption for those items that are in storage or transit. It's been recommended by the Economic Council and approved by the DeSoto County Board of Supervisors. So tonight, need authorization for it to be approved by the city as well.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is amendment to the FBI lease with the city of Southaven.
Yeah, this lease for the FBI is through the Government Services Administration, GSA. Obviously, they're currently leasing space from the city. The lease amendment adds certain clauses related to cyber security management. And supplier chain risk management is part of the ongoing effort by the federal government to make sure those items are secure as part of their leases. So that lease adds language to reflect those provisions. So tonight, need authorization for the mayor to just sign the lease, amendment to the lease as presented with that additional language that will note that certain requirements will be in the FBI GSA offices for the cybersecurity and supply risk management, the supply chain risk management. It doesn't affect the contract from a payment or timing standpoint.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion?
one other thing, it has certain protocols for how the space can be entered and who can enter the space as expected with the FBI, and that's also reflected in the amendment.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is a resolution for a special event permit ordinance.
Yeah, this resolution will set the requirements for a special event permit. Currently, as you know, it comes before each permit comes before the board for approval after being reviewed by the city officials. This will actually put an objective criteria for each permit that comes to the city. It'll allow for input from the fire department, police department, planning department, parks department. Obviously, there's been an influx of special event requests over the last couple of months, years. And so this ordinance will put together the criteria along with the analysis that's need to be used for each special event, and then allow it to be approved administratively. And then if there's an issue, it can be appealed to the city board for questions. It's been reviewed by fire and police. They were both good with it. It does require each permit to have right now it reflects 30 days, but it's going to be revised to reflect 21 days before it's due. 21 days the application is due before the event, so it can give time for the city to review it. It then sets forth the requirements for insurance along with an indemnification document that will be signed on behalf of the people who are putting together the event. That will indemnify the city and hold the city harmless based on past events, and then also it will allow for certain exemptions for those events that are indoors for a funeral procession or a city event. So tonight, happy to answer any questions, but that's the the ordinance in front of you for consideration and potential approval. The ordinance will go into effect immediately due to the need to go ahead and get these events permitted. Like I said, it does provide the objective criteria that's needed for the city to actually review each permit from a objective standpoint as opposed to just having subjective criteria.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion?
Currently, where do the the special event permits go to? The city clerk's office?
Correct.
Okay.
And this will have it through the clerk's office along with being coordinated with the representative from the police department based on what streets need to be closed, how big the size will be, what the hours of operation, what events will be occurring, what noise amplifiers will be there, and allow for those all to be reviewed as well.
So
The reason, go ahead, Alderman.
I was going to say, so we'll no longer be approving them here, they'll be approved administratively.
Now, yeah, so if there's an issue though, if someone doesn't like the approval, they can always appeal to the board. So there is a mechanism where if someone is denied, they appeal to the board. But that will be approved administratively. It'll streamline the process, but and not make every one of them come before you each meeting, so that in the event there is somebody doesn't like the fact their permit was denied, they can appeal to the board for approval.
What I want to add for everyone, the board and everyone in the audience, what prompted this is, and Nick alluded to it, but we've had an enormous amount of new requests for events. A lot of those at public facilities, either at the park, where there's a for-profit element, where they'll come in, they want to bring food trucks and other things and turn a public place into, like a moneymaker, that kind of thing. So not only that, but in the evening hours, we've had a request for large gatherings, and this whole ordinance is built around the main goal of public safety. Like we can never get in a situation where we have a gathering that's too large that overwhelms our ability to keep the people safe. And so it's not uncommon, like we've got one event that's a Halloween event where they're expecting 5,000-6,000 people. And so, you add that on a Friday or Saturday night, that stretches our team. And so we've got to hammer this down and make sure that our city is protected and that we have adequate time to review the event to make sure we ensure the public safety. And what has been happening in the past is, not all the time, but we've had a lot of situations where someone will come in and they're setting up shop. They're putting outdoor music up. They got flyers going all over the Memphis Metro. They're about to have a shindig, here in Southaven, and we don't even have a permit. Someone will ask me on the street about it. I'm like, I know nothing about this. And so then we've had others that, day of will just say, well, I didn't know I had to have a permit, and what I got to do, and they run down to the clerk's office 2 hours before they're going to start the event, and it just doesn't work that way. We have got to set the parameters for the safety of our city and make sure that our police chief and our planning director, our street supervisors, that everybody has a chance, fire chief, to review this and make sure we can have a safe event. So that's what it's about, just to make it, more specified, specify the time. We are going to change that to 21 days, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 21 days in advance, that gives us adequate time to review it. But as I say this tonight, I'm telling all y'all, somebody's going to call you, and they're going to say, hey, I've already sent out invitations. I'm having this huge event in the city, and we don't know anything about it. And when we get that, we're going to say, your event's not approved. And the answer is no. And so what we've tried to do, I've tried to do as mayor, is not to say no to people, to scramble. Then I get the team together and we start scrambling. Hey, can you go check this out? Can you check this out? Can we say yes to this or what? And it just doesn't. It's not fair to the city, and that's why it needs to change for the safety of the city. Any other? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I like the idea that it's going through the police chief and fire chief.
It always has been. Just
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I was going to show my ignorance because I thought we'd been doing it that way.
We have. Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer the approval to still reside with the board, but I'm probably one of 6.
Well, and the reason, of course, y'all are the board. You can make it whatever you want to make it. The only thing I would tell you is, again, it just slows. It gives. I mean, it's just, you got the people. Like, if you brought it to me, what I'm going to do is turn around and I'm going to take it to the police chief and the fire chief and the people and say, hey, can we do this safely? So really, it's the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing that you would do, I would hope. So if y'all want to make it that way, but it's you're slowing a big city down. I mean, because like I said, there's a lot of events that are safe. They're not a big deal. And so if we have to bring every one of them before the board, that's small town Mississippi. So
I understand Wayne's concern, but I'm okay with it.
if y'all want it done, that make the motion.
No. I'm good with it being the way it is.
Yeah, I'm just, again, y'all hear me say this, but there's a lot of things going on in the city. When we have to take everything, wait 2 weeks to bring it back, it just, and like I told you, there are times now where Whitney, you can testify to that. I mean, we've had to walk out there day of and said, I don't know what y'all are doing, but that you don't have a permit for this. And so if we have to further, do 21 days and coordinate that with a board meeting day, you're really slowing the city down. But again, I'm not going to fight anybody on if y'all want to do that. It's not about me. I'm just trying to make a recommendation on what's safest and what's most efficient for the movement of the city.
I trust our department heads.
And you got the safety thing put in there now where if something comes up and they do want to appeal it, they can always appeal it to us if it.
Absolutely,
If
yeah.
being unfair.
And they will be, and I'll just tell you, we wouldn't have spent all the time doing this if we didn't have a reason to readdress it. If we say no, and some of them are not going to like that, so you will be seeing them. They will be coming to you to appeal the decision, but I'll be delivering the news to them, and then they can appeal it back to y'all if they choose to. That's how we got it, right, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Make an appeal.
Did we make a motion?
We did. I was just going to give everybody time to think for just a minute. Is there anything else anybody can think of any other questions or comments? It's a city board meeting. Yeah, you have to be on the agenda to speak. Christy, she can get on the next agenda if she would like.
We've already discussed.
No,
Yeah. Anyway, any discussion among the board? We had a motion and a second, didn't we, Andrea? Okay. Okay, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Hicks.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Walker.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution amending Southaven Ordinance, Title 12, Chapter 5, Section 12, 127A.
Yeah, this resolution just amends the ordinance in the context of plat signatures. Currently, our ordinance now requires, which is consistent with state law, you have to have an agreement in writing for each person that the plat alteration affects. And as it stands now, we require the plat to be signed. This will just allow for an agreement in writing that can be filed with the Chancery Clerk's office as approved or allowed by the planning director. So It still is consistent with state law. It just allows for more flexibility on getting that signature in agreement in writing, as opposed to having the actual plat signed that has to be mailed across the country to different people a lot of times. So it's more efficient, and it should be, and it's still compliant with the intent of the law and the previous ordinance. So I'm happy to answer any questions on it.
Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Would you just recap that again for everybody?
Yeah, all right, so right now, the way when you amend a plat or alter a plat, you have to have the signature and agreement in writing as part of those people who are affected by the alteration. So the ordinance defines those who are affected by the alteration of the plat. This will still require an agreement in writing by those people who are affected. They still have to basically agree to the amendment, but as an affected property owner in writing. It just means they don't have to sign the plat that's being amended. Currently, as it stands, you send the actual plat that's being filed, and that has to be signed. This will just allow for the for a document acknowledging the plat alteration and/or amendment to be utilized that refers to the plat as opposed to the actual plat. So it's just making it where the plat itself doesn't have to be signed. So that the big document is filed with the Chancery Clerk's office, but a paper or not a paper, but a document that reflects the intent and set in the agreement to the plat alteration. That also refers to the plat in that document as well. So it's clear that that's what they're agreeing to.
So basically, we would send them a digital copy of the plat and that document.
Correct.
They can review the plat and sign the document instead of trying to print a plat and sign it and scan it.
Or you can just have that document emailed to people, and it can be signed through electronic means.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Yes. No. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Yeah, that motion carries. Next on our agenda is the resolution for filing liens and assessments.
Yeah, this resolution just authorized for liens and assessments to be filed for those properties that were cut in accordance with 21-1911.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is award of bid for the Nail Road Extension Project.
Yeah, Dan Cordell's here if you have any questions, but tonight's just authorization to allow for the award of the bid to ACUF Enterprises, an amount of $4,078,048 for the Nail Road extension. They went to bid. That was the lowest and best bid. They're currently doing the Getwell widening project as well. So tonight I need authorization to accept the bid and authorize the mayor to sign any and all documents for the contracts.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. I'll just add to the discussion, just so y'all know, in our capital improvement plan, we were expecting this project to be a $6.8 million project. And for those in the audience that are watching that doesn't know, this will connect Getwell and Tullahoma, add a new traffic signal on Tullahoma. So to make a tremendous difference in relieving traffic in the Getwell area. Y'all know that we recently added a signal at Tullahoma and Church too, so a lot better functionality along the Tullahoma corridor with this. But the good news on the money is we were expecting 6.8, and we were co-oping this with developers that are going to build developments in that area, so they're going to pay 50% of the construction cost. But with this bid, it puts your total cost at 4.7 instead of 6.8. And so when we split that, it looks like we're paying more of the fees, not fees, but the professional services, the oversight. But that gives us a net of 2.3 million out of pocket instead of 3.4. So that frees up, 1.1 million in our capital improvement budget. So that's some good news tonight. We like meetings like this. Any other discussion on this project? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a, excuse me. Did we not approve the permit with the, is my
I don't,
special event permit?
this is an actual permit, for
We
the
didn't
night
do
of,
that together with the ordinance?
no, sir, this is the night of,
Okay.
the night of hope for Forever Young.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is not this is an actual.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my bad. Okay, so next on our agenda is approval of a special event. And it's,
Then it's as it stands now, we still require these to have the board approval, so it's for, beginning October 22nd from 6 to 10, a night of hope forever at the Forever Young building. It's for the cancer charity, that's, being requested to have the special event at that location.
So moved.
Second.
we have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. There is another thing that we didn't discuss with the ordinance that's relevant to the boards. What we were talking about earlier is if there's a situation where a road is being closed or alcohol being served at a facility, those are two things that still will come. That's a totally different ordinance or law
Yeah,
about closing a road. So anything like that, like a parade or anything that's impacting a road, or again, alcohol being served at a city facility, those things will still come back. Okay, so that was approved, and so we'll move on to the next. On our agenda is our engineering contract, and we're just proposing renewing, extending the same engineering contract, everything exactly the same for 2 years with Civil Link.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Gallagher. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is a resolution for sanitation assessments.
This resolution will just allow for liens assessments for those individuals who haven't paid the monthly sanitation fee.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is amendment to the contract in place between the city and Silo Square Holdings.
This amendment is for the East Precinct. As you know, we contracted with Silo Square Holdings for the construction and the property exchange under 5771. The amendment tonight will just add to the construction cost $31,894.85. Those were for certain requirements to the building as needed by the police department. So tonight, need authorization to approve this contract amendment for the mayor to sign. And then the closing is hopefully will happen by the next 2 to 3 weeks, and that building will be then occupied by the police department, getting the closing documents prepared on our end. And so now we're just waiting for the final inspections and final approvals. So, but once this contract's signed, we can start moving towards closing.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion?
Is that coming out of the capital fund?
It is, yes. We had that included in the capital improvement plan, and we're just, again, just paying the difference in the trade of the two. And then the only thing different was the number, $31,894. There were some amendments made to the building that are specific to police. And so we're just putting that, we're just throwing that in the contract, Whitney, right?
Correct. We had to amend the contract for the closing.
These are permanent things to the building, not personal
I
property.
think there was a list on there already. So.
Okay. Just making sure everybody understands that. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is a resolution for the surplus of ambulances.
Yeah, this will surplus the ambulances, 2 ambulances for the Southaven Fire Department. They receive new units, and the current units that are being used will be put in reserve. The new units will also be, of course, the ones that are primarily used, and the ones that are being surplus will be surplus in accordance with Mississippi Code 172525.
So,
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Jerome, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is an amendment to Tyler Technologies contract.
This amendment with Tyler reflects the removal of payroll, HR management, and voter, but it'll still allow for read-only purposes for payroll and HR management, simply because we'll need to have those to be able to view previous records. So tonight just has a removal of those from the Tyler management as far as active use, but allow for read-only for the HR and payroll. So authorization for the mayor to sign this amendment as presented, removal of those services from Tyler Technologies contract.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution to clean private property.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt a resolution granting authority to clean private property as presented on this date.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion among the board? Hearing none, is there anyone in the audience who has a financial interest in any of these properties who would like to speak? Hearing or seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is our planning agenda. Our planning director, Ms. Whitney Cook.
Yes, sir. So our first application is the request for a conditional use permit to allow a wrecker and towing service at the address, what you see right here on the screen, and it is 9210 Airways Boulevard. It's at the very north end of the city, on the state line, on the east side of Getwell Road. It's a vacant piece of property behind the warehouse you see constructed there. It is zoned light industrial. It's 1.96 acres, and what we did in terms of looking at the conditional use permit is to take into account the requirements set forth in the ordinance in terms of increased traffic hazards, increased fire hazards, not adversely affecting the character of the neighborhood, the general welfare of the city, overtaxing public utilities, and not conflicting with the comprehensive plan. That being said, per the ordinance, it is allowed through the special conditions of the permit. You'll see on the application that those requirements are itemized out for no salvaging or selling of any parts, temporary storage of sites only, and has to be completely concealed, and things of that nature. I do understand there's some concerns, and I'm here to answer any questions we may have on that. And I believe the gentleman who is the applicant is in the audience as well. So the recommendation at this time through the Planning Commission was to approve it based on what we have in our zoning ordinance and the zoning it is currently.
What was the concern with the police department, you know?
I do understand that, and obviously Chief Vickers can explain a little better, and I think he was going to research some issues with auto burglaries that we have in that vicinity, and kind of narrow it down to this not immediate location, but in the intersection of State Line and Airways area, and see if that's something that they believe would increase. If that is the case, it would be seen as overtaxing public facilities and utilities. That is something that the Planning Department and the Planning Commission couldn't take into account at that time, but I believe that Chief Vickers was going to look into that. I'm not sure if he has any answers tonight or if he needs more time, but that was one concern that was voiced to me after the fact.
I'm gonna ask a question you probably don't know, but you might.
I can try.
Yeah, I know you'll try. I mean, is there a big issue with cars being stolen off of tow lots like this?
You're gonna I'm gonna have to give you to Chief Vickers. Yeah.
I can tell you there's an overwhelming dislocation. We have an overwhelming challenge in the city in industrial areas with auto vandalism,
Right.
auto theft, and in addition to that, if you go south of here, going towards the floor, you got your hospital here, and then you got your major retail centers there, and then not far from there is Walmart. So this is a heavy presence, a very unusually heavy presence of auto crimes, whether vandalism, break-ins, or auto theft. And so, and as Whitney stated, Chief Vickers, can definitely put that data together. But just, being fair with everybody, that's a concern where it is. And is there does someone go on a wrecker lot? And I don't know about that. I mean, this is a vacant piece of property. We've never experienced it. But what I can tell you, and we have the facts to back it up, it concerns me because you see the huge industrial area just south of there. Then you have some others going further east. And like I said, then you go into the retail area. That's probably the epicenter of auto crimes where this is located. And we can show that with police data.
And I would bring up, the discussion, this was already handled before this last board meeting where there was a discussion with another towing company that was on record, I guess being taken off the rotation due to vehicles being taken into Memphis. And that's another concern that the police arose to me, that, I mean, it's an easy access to the other lot that's on the Memphis side, which these gentlemen also have a towing lot on the Memphis side of that. So that concern was, voiced as well. So, from a zoning aspect, it's light industrial, yes. Character of the neighborhood, yes. I think the concern now and what's being discussed now is it an overtax on the public utilities? And that's something we have to look at.
We have to look at it, we don't have the answer yet.
I'll let Brent, if Chief Vickers is here, he can kind of speak on that a little bit more. That's his side of it. But I don't know if he's had a chance to take all that and to kind of work those stats out or not, but I'll let him speak on that.
We can provide that, but I can go ahead and tell you that that's, as I stated, that area is the epicenter of auto crimes, and we want to be straight up with the property owner and the potential business person. We want to make sure that we don't string them along, give them a fair answer as well. And again, the reason that we make decisions is we don't want to put a business owner in a bad situation either, because we have information that the business owner doesn't have. And,
Correct.
And again, I'm not going to replace his comments because he can add to that. But I can tell you that you're, again, not specific to the piece of property because there's nothing there right now. But I can tell you that everything around here is the epicenter of one of the biggest challenges we have in the city of Southaven with auto crimes. But Chief, would you elaborate more on the specifics for everybody?
We're still pouring through all the data. And again, we have no problem with the company itself. We don't have any issues with that. It simply is the location. Being right there on the line. Historically, any kind of business that's right there on the line creates a challenge for us. It becomes an easy target for criminals. Again, a lot of the crimes that would be committed would be property crimes that if they cross that line into Tennessee, there's not a lot we can do at that point. We're not going to get a lot of help from Memphis a lot of times just simply because it doesn't meet their criteria. We're not going to chase a bunch of people for, minor property crimes into Tennessee, especially right there in the Airways corridor. Preliminarily, we've had 200 incidents within a mile radius of this intersection, of this address in a year's time. Now, I haven't been able to go through all the data, but there's a lot of auto-related criminal activity that's taking place. So our concern is basically, as I stated to some of you, that this lot would have to be fortified in a manner that would prevent someone from being able to get in. If we're going to have cars that go in there that are evidence cars that maybe had a hold on them for another agency, something that we need to look into later on, our concern is that that's, damaged, tampered with, stolen. Property gets stolen, they make complaints back to the police department because they were towed on our behalf. So, if we could look at some other crime prevention measures, maybe license plate reader cameras, other surveillance cameras that we could have direct access to, lighting, fencing, razor wire, whatever you call it. But again, that puts a large pressure on that business owner to make that investment to keep it safe, which may still not prevent it from happening, which in turn drives the city's crime rates up as a whole, contributes to it.
And to add to that, again, to point out the fact that just last year we started Operation Close the Door for a reason, because people, Getwell Airways, we have 11 north-south arterial roads. For the audience, people watching, there is no other suburb of Memphis, Tennessee that has as many unrestricted arterial roads coming to and from Memphis, Tennessee. We have 11. That's the most of any other city. Some have water. Obviously, West Memphis, you have the river. There's other factors. That's what makes us so unique in Southaven is we have 11 arterial roads, and we fight that every day with people trying to run. That's what Operation Close the Door for the safety of people in Southaven. We have to be careful with police chases. So what we've done is we've advertised that publicly. We put more resources on the state line so people are not running and getting away. So if you're adding something it's counterproductive to that whole effort. If you're adding something that's going to increase your likelihood of more crimes in that area. Again, as Chief said, the business owner, we have a big city. We'd love to have this person in the city. We just don't feel like that's the right place.
Well, and I
don't.
mean, just
I'll
to
speak for
add to that, when you said razor wire, that made me cringe because that's not going to be something we're going to want to see from my side as you enter the city is razor wire coming up on us.
First thing you see.
So if that's the way we have to fortify, that's going to be a concern from our side, and that's not here yet because design review is a totally separate animal in and of itself. But I understand where he's coming from, but. You know, there's got to be a compromise there. So that's definitely not something we would want to entertain right there on the state border.
I've got a question, Chief. How many calls per se, especially auto type calls, from the warehouse that's just to the south of there?
Again, that it's such a massive amount of data. All I can tell you, within a 1 mile radius of that address, over the past year, there's been 200 criminal acts that have taken place there. And I haven't been able to pour through all of it to pull out. I've got an Excel spreadsheet full of it, but just going through it, it's auto burglary, auto theft, auto burglary, and it's one after another. And then of course you have other issues that happen in that particular area as well.
And the warehouse doesn't have a lot, I'm assuming.
No, to their credit, the warehouses have done a much better job with security because that used to be a very problematic area.
Do they have their own security at that warehouse?
Just about all of them do.
Do they?
Chief, how long would it take you to go through your stuff, you think? How much time would you need to come up with
I mean, it would take me a day just to go through it. I mean, I just got to pour through all of it.
So maybe what should we, like, look at this at our next meeting, you think, maybe? When they give you time?
That's completely up to
Mr.
you.
Mayor, I make a motion, we table this.
Okay, I think that's a good
Second.
motion. So we have a motion by Alderman Wheeler that we table item 1, and we have a second by Alderman Gallagher. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Davis.
Yes.
Alderman Tyler.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Item number 2 is a conditional use permit for a hair braiding establishment at 1734 State Line Road. This is in your C3 zone in our West End district on the north side of State Line Road, just east of Highway 51. You'll see it's in a mixed-use building with multi-tenants. And just as barbershops and beauty shops have that half-mile radius rule, this also comes into play with that rule. And we have done a window survey, and it does meet the distance criteria. So with that in mind, Planning Commission voted unanimously in favor of it for a 1-year conditional use with a 4-year extension pending compliance.
Mayor, I'll make a motion, we approve item number 2 on the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion on item 2 to approve by Alderman Hoots. Got a second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Davis.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is our mayor's report. As y'all can see by the length of our agenda tonight, a lot of my report, a lot of the things that have been in my plan and my work have you've approved already tonight with our work with our Police East Precinct. It's almost ready to move in. We'll be in there pretty soon. Nail Road, that's going to be such a major project for our city, having that extension right there. And again, the events, getting a handle on that, health insurance, the whole deal. A couple other things, just want to update everybody on. Traffic signals, that's been in our works for a long time. Tullahoma and Church, Sweeney and State Line, and Guthrie and Airways, all those signals. Well, the State Line and Sweeney, we're waiting on one piece of equipment to get it functional, but Guthrie and Airways and Tullahoma and Church are functional now. And it just makes such a big difference. That's been in our plan for a lot of years. To make it safer. The Guthrie and Airways is a little bit challenging because it's so close to Goodman Road and Airways. You got to be careful when you're putting signals in that you don't, have a counter effect and slow the traffic. But then the dangers of trying to make a left turn onto Airways now from Guthrie have become so dangerous that the benefit outweighs, any detriment that it would bring. Same thing at Swinney and State Line. Y'all know that intersection is offset. The part going into Memphis is offset from the southern route. But trying to make a left turn off of Swinney on the State Line with all the increased traffic is extremely dangerous. So that one's been in the plan for a while. So that one will be functional soon. And again, the Sacred Heart school traffic at Tullahoma and Church, or just anytime during any day, just trying to make a left turn on Church Road from Tullahoma is super dangerous. So those are going to make our city much safer. I want to give everybody an update on Fire Station 5. We don't have a whole lot of time to, eventually there'll be a book written about this, but until then, I'm just going to give you a brief update. We have further increased the pressure on the bonding company. The surety bond was called for failure of the general contractor. That's why it's taken so long. For everybody that may be watching, I know the calendar. This project started in April of 2021 just to build a fire station. So how is it ridiculous? It's absolutely ridiculous. The reason that we've done what we've done is we've listened to our attorney's advice. We didn't want to do anything along the way that could jeopardize the bond having financial responsibility for it, because what you could get into is you're on it on your own, all the extra costs. So it would be bad for the taxpayers if we had made that decision. So the reason that this ridiculous project has taken so long is we're trying to be smart and patient so we don't hurt the taxpayers' money. And so here we are. And again, we've been through, a book. I can't tell you everything, but the good news now is that we have stepped up pressure. Now we have more construction experts on site. We're requesting that there be an update weekly, not monthly or bi-weekly. We want a weekly update at noon on Friday. And I can assure you that we're putting this into high gear. If I have to put my boots on and go to the site, I'm about to do it. We are going to get this fire station finished. And so I want y'all to know that we are stepping up the pressure to get this finished. And it's extremely important for our city. But the other thing too, again, I wanted people to know, why would you allow this to happen? If it weren't for looking out for the money of the people of Southaven, I'd have had this fire station built 3 years ago. But there you go. Enough said about that. And that's all I have tonight. Like I said, a lot of the other big things that we've been working on were on the agenda tonight. Let's move on to the next thing on our agenda, which is our personnel docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the personnel docket as presented on this date.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 And that motion carries. Next on our agenda is our city attorney's legal update. Mr. Nick Manley again.
I have a couple quick items. The first item came in this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon, was approval for the Southaven Police Department to purchase equipment used to basically keep a drone in place, a tether system, while it's surfacing in an area or serving an area. The company's called Celier. The amount is $14,749. So we need approval for that purchase. They do have two quotes as required by state law. It's just wasn't going to make the docket in time, so we wanted to go ahead and get it approved so they can start utilizing that equipment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion. I'm sorry. We have a motion by Alderman Flores. Alderman Wheeler, did you say? And we have a second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Next item came in this afternoon as well. It's a budget amendment. Moving $1.375 million from FY23 reserve to tourism, from tourism to FY24 for park improvement. Need authorization to make that budget amendment as presented. Just transferring the money from last year to this year for the park improvement plans that's been implemented this year.
I'll make that a motion as well.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. And again, for everyone, y'all know in our parks enhancement plan, the timing of when the projects are done affects the money. So we had money that we didn't use last year. Now we've got the other projects that are taking that money, so moving it over for that purpose. So.
That's from the surplus of 23, right?
No, we're just moving the money from the tourism fund that was not used last year.
Okay.
Yeah. We're trying to, y'all know, in like the previous 4-year plan, we did a short-term bank loan, and y'all agreed that we were trying not to do that this time, just, which has been challenging, by the way, but it's working, just to coordinate the scheduling of them, where we just pay cash as we go, and we've been able to do that so far without much overlay. So this is just taking money that wasn't used last year and rolling it into this budget. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And that motion carries.
And last item is approving Butler Snow to be the attorney for an additional year. Since we're outside counsel, I'll get that done once a year for the contract. Same contract that's been in place for the last 7 years, 6 or 7 years. So need authorization for the mayor to sign that contract.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Gallagher. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on our agenda is our utilities billing leak adjustment docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the utility bill leak adjustment docket as presented on this date.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on our agenda is one claims docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the claims docket in the amount of $3,035,403.48, including demand checks.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on our agenda is the purpose of determining the need for executive session.
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Hoots. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The need this evening, the needs are claims and litigation by the city and against the city, police, against the city's police department and utilities departments, economic development within the city, Southaven Police Department personnel, interdepartmental personnel with no action, fire personnel, and tribute hall personnel. Is there a motion to declare executive session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The mayor and board are now in our executive session.